You just kept going. So, you need the music. We know that now. So we'll start. I pledge allegiance to the flag from the United States of America and to the republic for which
I
it
just feel
stands,
like
one nation, under God,
if she's
indivisible, with liberty and
gonna do
justice
it,
for
we
all.
need commitment. 'Cause
Jane, we
like
are ready for some
this
words
lady
of
I met with
wisdom.
that Colleen Mitchell the other day, yesterday and did her return or whatever. She is like, she had nothing good to say.
I know we're
Like
used to
nothing.
having
So she was
reflections on
fit to be gone.
altruism,
And she said,
creativity, but today the meditation or the reflection is on being ordinary, being mundane, because basically that's where we live most of our lives. In a 24-hour period, the great passion that I have is that normally Hudsonville caramel deer track ice cream. I mean, is that genius? That is genius. And so many of the people that we look to for these great moments of inspiration also live very ordinary lives. I'm sure that Albert Einstein wandering around Princeton spent 10 minutes on the everything theory, and the rest of the time on that pond he was wondering if he got goose shit on his shoes. Michelangelo, painting the Sistine Chapel, spent more time complaining about the back and wondering if they invested this much in the chapel, why couldn't they have heat? That's how we live our lives, in those mundane, ordinary moments. And I think that's where grace lives too. Because when you're watching it's 8th inning and they just pulled up the tie, and your child or your grandchild says, "Daddy, Mommy, you said you'd read a book." You turn off the TV and you read a book, and that's where grace is. And so celebrate the ordinary today.
Well, that was an interesting reflection. Goose, excrement, ice cream, and living in the middle. Please be seated and enjoy your lunch. We'll resume our meeting at 12:20. Kind of whiffed it. So, as I noted earlier, May is Youth Service Month, and we have a video along those lines to share with you.
Where are your AirPods?
I moved here and really didn't know anyone.
I wanted to get started on my career. I felt like I needed to be more active and give back. I wanted to be in a career that I loved. Always learning, always following my goals.
I knew I wanted to help people and create lasting change.
I was looking for a way to connect with new people and make friends. Something fun and social.
Something that makes me a better person. Something meaningful.
I've grown to know my neighbors.
And work with them to improve our community. I'm becoming the impactful leader I want to be.
And through it all, I've had fun and met some of the best people.
I found connections, solved problems, and made a difference.
I've built a network, a community. We took action. We joined Rotaract.
Thank you, and we hope that our two new Rotaract clubs are feeling that same vibe. It is time for guests. We have a number of guests here today. If you could please come up here. Claire will be there to help you with a mic. And somebody has to be first, so.
I'll be first.
So go for it.
How about that? While everyone is making their way up, I will introduce my guest, Claire Ritter, who's with me again this week and is interested in joining us. She's sort of new to Muskegon and a realtor.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andrea with SEH, and I have 3 guests with me today, actually, if y'all want to come over. All right. We have Mike Curtis with Harvest Solar. And we have Kat Hyder, who is with Catchmark Technologies, and she does IT sales there. And sorry, Mike also does sales with Harvest Solar. And then we have Karen Kakelik. Sorry, I didn't want to butcher that last name. And Karen is one of the owners of Indigrow. Thank you.
Come on in, everyone. We're squishing. Yep, we'll all come in here and squish in real cozy. Rich Ottoman, fellow Rotarian. We have Kathy Wilson, Executive Director of Corporate Giving with us today. Dan Nutt, Moreland Township Supervisor and Realtor here in the area with Coldwell Banker, right? Dave Johnson, Director of the Muskegon County Resource Recovery Center. Josh Burgett, Executive Director of Community Engagement and Community Affairs.
Thank you guys, welcome.
Feel like a slacker. I only brought 2 guests. I'm Lisa Kraus with Edward Jones. I have Mallory Meston with me. Again, you guys all know her already, but she's with the Energy Conservation Source, and she will be inducted soon as a member. And then I have Brandon Rediker with Ready Marketing. He and his wife are starting a social media company. She's a photographer, and he has a background in social media doing social media for the X Games in Brazil. He's got cool stories about it. Ask him.
Good afternoon. Myra Dutton here with my guest Robert Canfield. He is the new Muskegon Residential Program Manager for about a month now, overseeing 5 of our homes here in Muskegon County at HGA Support Services.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoyer with Goodwill, and with me today is Dr. Brian Stork. We have been friends for nearly 30 years, I think. He's also one of 3 urologists here in town. But he has also been really involved in the prevention of gun violence and has been involved in bringing a lot of funding here to Muskegon for some very important projects, which you'll hear about in November, because it sounds like he's going to be our speaker then.
Thank you, Claire. Welcome to all our guests. We're really happy to have you with us. We hope you enjoy today's program. It looks to be very interesting. And speaking of program, Rich, we're ready for your introduction.
It's a whole thing, right? We're hanging there with us. I'm Rich Ottoman. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for Consumers Energy. We're really excited to be here today. We're going to talk about our project going on East Apple Avenue. These gentlemen are going to talk more about it. And I'll just introduce you. This is Ryan Kerrigan. He's our Principal Community Affairs Manager in charge of stakeholder engagement with Consumers Energy. He's going to be the community affairs face of this project. Then we also have Sean Casey with our Enterprise Project Management Group, and he is the project manager for the development of that through 2026. So, sir, we will take the first slide. Okay. We'll go, oh, my clicker, here we go, sorry. I got it? So real quick about our company, right? So we've been around since 1886, and we serve most of the Lower Peninsula with either gas or electric. We have about 8,500 employees. That number's been pretty similar over the years since I've been here. We are one of the state's largest landowners and taxpayers. And, we are also really on a journey right now. You've been hearing probably a lot about different things we're doing to strengthen our system. The last 4 years in Michigan have been the windiest on record. And so we're coming up with new things to keep up with outages and to respond to those by trying to harden our system. So we're doing things like we're introducing iron poles. We're doing some strategic undergrounding, more forestry work, just really trying to do various things, and also doing some electronic AI type of things actually to try to make isolate our outages a little better than reroute power, using some technology to do that, where we don't want any more than 100,000 folks to be out for any one storm or out for more than 24 hours. So that's our roadmap journey. And of course, safety is important. We've had 208 folks pass on the job with us in our history, but we're nearing our time of the longest where we haven't lost someone, which is great. And we want everyone to go home safe, and that's the journey we're on there. Okay, so Kathy Wilson's here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about more about her work, our new corporate giving director, executive director that you met earlier. But we are the largest taxpayer in Muskegon County. We have about $100 million worth of infrastructure here, and we're scheduled to make about $1.5 million in improvements. That's going to be toward that reliability journey that we're on. So you may be seeing some of that work where you live or where you work. But the last 3 years have been really great. Really proud that we've been investing heavily in some 3 key awards from our People, Planet, and Prosperity program that we launched a few years ago. So in Muskegon Heights and Rowan Park, we were that really tried to help spark that downtown redevelopment. Dune Harbor Park won a Planet Award with Muskegon County, which is going to be a beautiful project taking over the former Nugent sand mining operation, and as well as the STEM lab at the Sturris Center down at Muskegon Community College. So, and I got to tell you, the Torrent House is really interesting because between 1870 and 1900, they're the ones that started the first Muskegon Electric Company. And I didn't know that until I listened to a podcast, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because we started serving the area in about 1920. But John and George Torrent, anyway, the Muskegon Electric, I got to get a T-shirt on that someday. That's going to be great. So there's Kathy in the Silver Sides yesterday. But I really think it's important to touch on the foundation work we do before we launch into our solar project program. We've been, DE&I is really important work to Rotary, and we really appreciate the relationship we have with the Community Foundation. They're one of the foundations we've worked with we want to help supplement the important work that they do, and they're doing a great job. They have like a focus group where they help make some strategic DEI investments and in the area, and I think a couple of them are really cool to mention. Up in the White Lake area, at the Nuveen Center, they have a Artist of Color residency program where they help with transportation and supplies and all these various things and give them an opportunity to shine. And that's just one of the examples, but I'd like to talk about others, but I don't have quite enough time. But United Way, of course, gosh, Christine, we have such a great relationship. We helped found the Alice Project. We're still in deep with that. The new report's coming out really soon. And we were still a strong giver to United Way here in Lakeshore, and I'm just wrapped up a chair, and I just really appreciate our company's support of me and our overall engagement there. Economic development, we have 45 agencies across the state that we invest in, and we appreciate the work that GMED does here locally, Greater Muskegon Economic Development. A lot of work in the Heights, and to try to make our area a little better. So welcome, Kathy, again, and I'm going to pass this over to Ryan.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, everybody, for having us here today. My name's Ryan. As I said earlier, I am the Stakeholder Engagement Manager for pretty much all things solar. I will mention to you, I'm also a zoning administrator over in Kent County. And in the township there, I actually had to process a solar application that came in that Pine Gate Renewables proposed. It's not as big as what we have going on here, but I can guarantee you the amount of concern in a community is not always proportional to the size of the project. So, but that being said, I do want to give you a little bit of our roadmap of what we're doing with solar, renewable energy to an extent. And provide you just some good background information on that. I guarantee you I've probably heard every question there is under the sun, and we'll be happy to answer any new ones when we get done here as well. So The biggest thing that I really want to take away as a baseline, I try and share this every meeting that we have, is our focus as a company on renewable energy, wind, solar, battery storage. We also had a groundbreaking for renewable natural gas this morning, and a few other things that we're taking a closer look at. It's not just born out of a desire to be climate conscious and all of those things that Rich talked about that are impacting our ability to provide service. It's a dollars and cents decision too. And quite honestly, by shutting down some of our older facilities, we just shut down a coal plant over by Bay City where we're doing solar there now, as well as transitioning a few other coal facilities and older sites. We're saving $600 million for our customers out of that. So the biggest takeaway that I again just really want to highlight for folks is there's a lot of dollars and cents that we have to justify every one of these decisions, and solar is a big part of it because of the economic efficiency of these projects. So this is a little bit what I'm getting at. Over the last decade or so, solar has precipitously fallen in prices. You'll probably heard even a few years ago, prices for solar modules actually picked up a little bit. And there were a few things driving that, but honestly, the biggest part of that was the demand, because there's so much focus on trying to install solar right now and use that as the primary source of generation. The big thing that really solar provides better than other generation sources is in the summer when we're all running our air conditioning, our appliances, things like that. That's when solar generation is at its greatest. It really pairs well with wind and other sources of generation throughout the year to really help provide a good balance of generation as it's needed. I wanted to provide a little bit of background on sort of what's in a panel. It's probably no surprise to you that many of the questions I get are, is this toxic? Is it dangerous? Is it going to do something to the environment? The reality is the vast majority of material that is in a solar panel is glass. It's glass, there's some aluminum. The modules themselves are essentially, it's a silicon material, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, is basically quartz sand. It's just refined a little bit and sliced really thin so that when the sun hits it, it reacts and generates electricity. Much of the solar panels now are really coming onto line. They have an expected life of 30 years. I get asked a lot if they are just going to be thrown away when they're done, and the truth is the recycling industry is quickly ramping up to meet the demand for those. Panels actually only lose about 0.5% efficiency a year. So at the end of a 30-year solar project like the one that we are building here in Muskegon, those panels are frankly still going to be more efficient and generate more electricity than most of the panels people are even putting on top of their homes right now. So there is a second life for those, and that industry is quickly ramping up, and we expect to see it grow even more. So now that you know a little bit what it is, I talked a little bit about a smaller project I dealt with earlier. What we really are focusing, what you have here in Muskegon, are utility scale projects. For us, these generally mean projects that are generating 100 megawatts or more. For that 100 megawatts, you typically need somewhere in the vicinity of 1,000 acres. I will tell you as a rule of thumb, typically 1 megawatt equals about 6 acres of panels. There's a little bit of variation in there, obviously, with your topography, what's around, where exactly you are at in the state, and things like that. And there are other things that can push up or down some of those acres used as well, particularly zoning ordinances. And I know we're going through a lot right now with the state, doing a few extra things, but we're really committed to working locally to find workable ordinances that are responsible for the community, but also allow us to build a responsible and efficient project that's going to drive value for our customers. So that's what we're committed to. That's what we're going to do regardless of what the MPSC ends up doing with the siting that they're going to have a little bit more control over. So a little bit of what I'm driving at that I really want to highlight for the folks that live in the community near these projects that may travel by it every day is is that unlike, for example, our aging coal facilities that we're phasing out, these solar facilities are pretty much quiet neighbors that don't demand any services, that don't need much care and upkeep. We'll be out there to mow the grass a couple times a year. We certainly have solar technicians and folks that need to be in the vicinity. But these things are monitored essentially 24/7, and as soon as one module, frankly, is broken or something wrong with it, it's pretty easily detectable and something we can get out there, replace, monitor, repair as needed. We have a big site, which Sean will talk more about, that they're working on now, but you know, once that's done, there frankly probably won't be folks accessing that site more than 2-3 times a year. It really is a quiet neighbor, doesn't need water, doesn't need any of those type of things. And we really believe with the work we did in partnership with Moreland Township, the folks that do live in this vicinity will find that in time, there won't be a whole lot that they'll truly notice about this project. So one of the things I did want to mention here is that I guess the takeaway I would say is we gave a presentation up at the Michigan Township Association 2-3 weeks ago, and I specifically highlighted this project because of the unique partnership that I think it is. You know, solar in general is a good benefit for the landowners, for maybe a struggling family farm that's trying to look at ways to diversify their income. But with this specific project, it's a great opportunity for us to build a quality project, but also to partner with Muskegon County, the Resource Recovery Center, find ways for them to find greater economic use of their land, to provide more tax revenue and base in this community, and work together to find a project that is suiting both of our needs, is a benefit to taxpayers and a benefit to our customers. So there are a lot of things like that across projects that you will see, the increased landowner and economic benefit to the local landowners, the increased tax revenue to the schools and the taxing jurisdictions. But by finding these unique partnerships, frankly, we can increase and really find ways to leverage that benefit even more so for the taxpayers and the people in the region. And that's something that we're really proud about with this project. And that's really the segue here into this next slide. What you have here on this site is something where not all of the land was, and I don't want to speak for the Resource Recovery Center, but something that we can make greater economic use of. It was started by, it was Rich Vanderveen, right? So someone started it, came to us with this partnership and this opportunity because they saw the value of it. And then through this partnership and us coming here, taking it over and working with the township, it quickly became apparent that there was a lot of nice natural screening around the project. It was right next to a facility that has a lot of great energy needs, has land in excess and things like that that we can take advantage of, and really cite a good, responsible project and sort of build on Muskegon County's focus and desire to be more sustainable, promote renewables, drive a little bit more economic benefit and tax to the nearby community. So all of this fits into that. I really wish we could have and find these partnerships on every project, but it's really something that is unique about this project that I think everyone can be proud of. And this is a little bit of an overhead view of it. We have some quotes up here, essentially giving you more background on the facility. I will tell you there were some things we needed to work through the site. Sean will talk a little bit more about that. But again, this was just 100% a great site for a project. So I'll turn it over to Sean to talk a little bit more about the exact footprint of the project, some of the physical things that are going on. This is the one-pager that's on your table. You should also have a few other facts and information about solar. We have a great website, consumersenergy.com/MISolar. You can find my contact information there, and I'm always looking for opportunities to talk to leaders in the communities, folks like you that may have questions about solar, renewable energy, how it benefits your community, our businesses, and those type of things. So we certainly want to be a resource, and I do it as much as I can. But I'll let Sean talk a little more specifically about the project now.
How much time do I have left? Thanks, Ryan. 5 minutes. Okay, good. My name is Sean Casey. I am been with Consumers Energy for 31 years. I grew up in Muskegon, graduated from Reese Buffer in 1983. Yes, I just dated myself, but I love Muskegon, right? So I have the great honor, I had the great honor of decommissioning BC Cobb, and now I have the honor of building the first solar, utility scale solar array for Consumers Energy here in my hometown. So, did you already cover this slide? Okay, so footprint of the array itself, right? So as you see, there's a lot of detail. This is a busy slide, but really that shows the scale of the array itself. We're going to be putting in over 555,000 solar modules on site to equate to the 250 megawatts. Each solar panel is 535 watts. So you got to take that wattage and then divide that by the 250 megawatts. Well, that's DC, AC. I won't get into the technical stuff. But we're going to drive about 110,000 pile steel I-beams into the ground. That actually holds up the tracking system. The tracking system will track the sun from east to west and then reset at night, go back to the east, waiting for that sun to shine again in the morning. And that will just do that every day, every hour of the day, and it just tracks that sun. We're going to cover about 1,000 acres with the panels themselves, and then we're going to have 2 substations on site. So there's going to be one substation upper right-hand corner there. That's the collector substation. So all of the energy that's produced by the panels goes through an inverter, changes it from DC to AC, collects it at that substation, sends it across the road to a transmission substation that ITC will own, and will connect to the 138 kV line right across the street. So we've got about 3 square miles that we're going to build on. We do have several permits already in place. We have an AGL permit, we have our special land use permit, we have our county drain permit, and we have our soil and erosion permits. So all those permits are in place, and we are out there actively building. If you drive down Apple Avenue or M46 and you cross Swanson Road, you've already passed half of the array. So it's really difficult to see. As Ryan mentioned, there's natural screening right there. It is a beautiful site to build on. And then we have the grid interconnection. A couple other fun facts, right? So how much wire are we going to use? We're going to use 1,512 miles of wire to build this. That'll get us from here to Key Largo on a straight line. So interesting fun facts. And if you have any questions, please contact Ryan Kerrigan, and he will get the questions over to me and my engineering staff, and we'll go ahead and answer those questions. Do you have any questions right now? Oh, I gotta stand here, don't I?
I'm curious how taxes work. You pay personal property taxes, and then the county's probably exempt from taxes. So
yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
I'll take it. So it's hard to be specific with everything. And quite honestly, we all know the final assessment won't be done until, frankly, we sit down with the assessor, talk about all the facilities on site, the equipment, and that type of thing. A good way to put the tax for this in roughly value it. Last year, the state passed something called payment in lieu of taxes for solar. That requires us to pay, if you opt into it, $7,000 per megawatt in personal property taxes. So not the real, but just the personal. So do your 7,000 times 250. That is in lieu of doing the amortization and depreciation every single year. So the benefit for townships is you have a consistent base. In a typical project underneath that, your assessment rate goes to the highest and best use. In this case, it would reassess what, well, I'm not 100% sure right now, but typically what would be an ag assessment to an industrial, so whatever the local industrial rates would be.
Excuse me, could
you please come to the mic? We have an online audience too, so they won't be able to hear you. Thank you. That was a great answer.
The Cobb plant that was demolished generated about 500 megawatts, and this project's 250 megawatts. And from what I've been reading, you know, Germany went all in on solar and wind, and now they're backing off and they're restarting some of their coal plants. They're buying electricity from French nuclear plants and that kind of thing. How does consumers plan to deal with a potential shortfall from this transition?
So I don't want to get into the whole global politics of this. I think there's a lot of things in Europe driving their energy transition right now. I will tell you, the country that installed the most solar generation last year was China. China installed more solar than the rest of the world combined. We have a roadmap that we have to file with the MPSC. It's called the Integrated Resource Plan, to show how we're going to meet the demands of our customers over the next 5 years. We have 3 projects that we expect to be probably in construction on by the end of next year. We have a renewable natural gas plant that just broke ground this morning. So the reality is, we're focusing on everything that we can to provide that generation our customers need, and we don't believe that there's going to be a shortfall.
What manufacturers or companies are you using for the panels and inverters?
So the panels are First Solar panels out of Ohio, and the inverters are a Hitachi inverter.
And I'll just mention for the sake of it, First Solar, we're really proud to have a partnership with them because they are one of the top domestic manufacturers right now. So the panels on this project will come from a domestic production facility. First Solar is based in Ohio. And interestingly enough, First Solar also has taken the lead in launching their own recycling program. So you can opt into that, and if you use their panels, they will recycle them at the end of the life cycle or the lifespan of that project. So there's a lot of good things about First Solar, and we think it's one of the things that will make this a great project.
Okay, I just curious, I know that China makes most of the solar panels, but not all. Was there any requirement to have those panels made in the United States?
So there's not a firm requirement of that. To be honest with you, we're going to have foreign panels at some of our other projects. The reality is most of the market is foreign right now. As I mentioned, First Solar, I think they're ramping up to almost a dozen production facilities domestically right now. We're seeing more domestically come online. That's somewhat a response to some tariffs and things the federal government has done over the years to make sure that that panels are being produced responsibly.
Just curious, 1,500 miles of wire? What kind of wire? Aluminum or copper?
Copper.
Good.
It's all copper. We don't use aluminum wire. Yeah.
I think that you said that this installation is going to be 1,900 acres. How big is the entire wastewater site? In other words, what percentage of the wastewater site will you be using for this project?
7.
Not a trick question.
Yeah. Oh, it's about 20%.
Do we have one on Zoom?
And so to be clear, we have about 1,900 acres altogether in this project. As Sean said earlier, the amount actually with panels is closer to only about 1,000 acres.
How will snow affect the panels and the transmission?
You answered this good last time.
Yeah, so the snow, right? Snow, hail, high winds. This is a smart system, right? So this system picks up on the actual snowfall in the area at the time, if there's severe weather, high winds, hail, etc., and it will actually monitor the winds, and then this tracking system that I was describing moves, right? In high winds, it actually goes flat, so it doesn't become like an airplane wing, and it doesn't pick up on the panels itself. And then when it gets heavy snowfall or there's severe weather like hail, they actually go into a stow mode where they kind of lean sideways so they don't get a direct 90-degree hit from the hail. And the snow will slough off, and or the panels get warm, right? So those panels do generate electricity in the dark, just so you're aware of that. You got to keep that in mind. If they're outside, they do generate electricity from the shine of the moon. They are considered like a battery. They generate electricity through a photon. The photon comes through, hits the negative charged particle on one side, and drives it through to the positively charged particles on the other side, and it generates electricity. So you don't need sun. Moonlight works, everything else. So you got to be careful with solar modules if you're actually going to install them at home. You can't just throw a blanket over them and consider them dead. But weather, right? I'm sorry, I sidetracked a little bit there. But anyways, the weather, they have a stow mode. They have a safe operating system that will protect the panels themselves.
And I'll add real quick because I can't help it. Winter is actually a good time for solar energy. Pretty much peak generation is a sunny day with snow on the ground because that reflection, that light, all that albedo effect is hitting dual-sided panels and generating a pretty good amount of electricity on those days. The only downfall of winter, frankly, is just the shorter days.
With solar panels on residential places selling power back to the electric company, is that something that will be used in the future to generate a lot of it by using individual houses to sell back electricity with solar panels?
I don't think that's part of our overall plan, you know, if that's what the resident wants to do, that's fine, but I don't think that's a part of our overall energy production plan.
Yeah, I would just add that, you know, certainly we would encourage that. I think having solar panels on your house is great. The idea of focusing on utility scale is frankly to provide energy to 1.9 million customers. Just doing rooftop isn't going to completely be enough to get us there.
We're going to wrap this up. Thanks so much, everyone. I neglected to give a shout out to Dr. Demersion. In 1973, Ludington Pump Storage was created, and also the Resource Recovery Center of the wastewater. It was a wonderful project that was designed and still works great today. And just tribute to you, Dr. Demersion. This is what your facility grew up to be, and it's still working great. And thanks for all your intelligent work 50 years ago.
Thank you so much for that excellent program. As a sign of our appreciation, Muskegon Rotary will be making a donation to Hand Wash, which is a cooperative initiative between Terre Neuve in Haiti and Champion Rotary District 6290 to provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene in rural areas of Haiti. And I have to say, it's abundantly clear why I didn't go into engineering. Okay, we are moving on to it's birthday time. Wasn't a big week in the old birthday month, but we want to wish a very happy birthday to Karen Bowie and Jason Piasecki, who will both be celebrating on June 1st. We make reference to the fact that the $10 that we ask everyone to donate in honor of their birthday goes to our Caring Connection. And along the lines of Caring Connection, I want to share a thank you card from someone who had the benefit of that. Dear Rotary Club, thank you for all the love and support you have given to me during this difficult time in my life. Thank you for your kindness and the beautiful floral arrangement. I am truly grateful to be part of this group in so many ways. This is the family of Roger R. Smith and represented by our very own Susan Besteman. So your kindness went out to her. We are now ready for our spotlight video. Lights, please.
I'm Jamie Soa, and I live in the beautiful city of Norton Shores with my husband, Chris, and my two daughters, Sophia and Evelyn. I became a Rotary member in April, And my involvement, though, has been with the Rotaract Club as the club advisor since September. The club at one time at Baker College was a really vibrant club. And then after COVID, it just kind of dissipated. So we really have been in a resurgence year of trying to connect new students to the club. So we've been in a building year. The students have hosted a couple of different drives to connect with the community. We've done fundraising, and the organization that they have determined that they want to donate funds to this year is hospice. I am a first-generation college student, and so there are a lot of barriers that come from being a first-generation college student. But one of the things that I had as a student was a group called the American Association of University Women. And that group really held me accountable to finishing my degree. I don't think that I would have finished it without them. And part of it was because they connected me to community. And I knew that when the group was helping me that I would never be able to repay them for all of the investment that they put into me. And when I asked them, you know, how could I ever help to repay the group back, the group told me to pay it forward.
Yes, Jamie, as you know, is the new lead for our Baker Rotaract Club, and she's doing a great job, and we're trying to get community college back up and running, and that's in the works too, so we're very grateful for those. We have an induction today. I invite Patrick Ertz and Dimitri Poland to please come forward. Go see the lovely Miss Claire. You can go behind me, it's okay. There's less cabling that way, it's better.
Thank you. Okay. Am I ready?
You are ready to go.
All right, so it's my honor to introduce Parker Arts. I've known him for a good portion of my life. We played soccer together, we grew up together, so I'm really excited for him to join Muskegon Rotary. Parker Arts is a West Michigan native who has received various leadership awards during his development, including the Life Leadership Conferee of the Year Award. Parker attended Central Michigan University on scholarships for track and field, academic excellence, and the Leadership Advancement Program, and has his bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship with a minor in leadership. Parker has experience raising and training working line canines for personal, professional, and government use through West Michigan Canine. He has experience as the general manager of Cerberus Security, a locally owned physical and canine security company. With Parker's innovative and ethical leadership abilities, he led Cerberus Security to become a top competitor in the security realm nationwide. Now, Parker is the co-founder and chief financial officer of Infinity Staffing Professionals and is the CEO of Artman Outdoor Rentals, an RV rental business. Parker is also an assistant track and field coach at Reese Buffer High School, specializing in sprints, hurdles, relays, jumps, and helping student athletes prepare for the next steps in their lives. Infinity Staffing Professionals is pioneering methods that will redesign the staffing industry. They are a dynamic and innovative staffing solution provider dedicated to meeting the evolving workforce needs of businesses across industries. With a commitment to excellence, they specialize in connecting top-tier talent with organizations seeking unparalleled expertise. Their team specializes in recruiting and employing staff that are best suited for each industry and client. By partnering with organizations and utilizing programs that allow their team to impact and employ targeted communities and overcome employment barriers, they can more effectively fill clients' needs by reaching untapped markets of staff while bringing a philanthropic approach to the staffing industry. Infinity Staffing Professionals revolutionizes industry benchmarks, propelling itself to the forefront of the sector.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. Claire can take the microphone for me. Oh, stay here. We're not done yet. Yeah, I know. Well, you're not going to. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, I have the privilege of inducting a new member today on behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon. Parker Arts? Arts. You've been chosen for membership in the Muskegon Rotary Club because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your profession and that you possess the qualities that will help you exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, social, and private life. By joining the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you become part of a worldwide organization of business and professional leaders united in fellowship and dedicated to encouraging and fostering the ideal of service and high ethical standards to help create goodwill and a more peaceful world. Because you are a member of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you will become welcome to join the fellowship of any Rotary Club worldwide. Membership in Rotary is an honor and a privilege. With this privilege, there are obligations. The Muskegon Rotary Club asks that you attend the club's meetings regularly, perform your share of club service, and use your knowledge and talents to help Muskegon Rotary carry the principles of Rotary into the daily life of our community. Do you accept these obligations of membership? I do. Well, thank you for that. So I'm going to start with the pin. Dimitri, I'm going to give this to you. It's all presentation. That's okay. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I am pleased to ask Dimitri Polin, your sponsor, to give you this Rotary pin so your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a Rotarian. Please wear your pin with pride. And there's a little more swag here. There we go. I also asked Dimitri to present you with this plaque displaying the ideals of Rotary, a copy of the four-way test, and a member directory. Finally, I have a challenge for you. My challenge is for you to share the gift given to you by your sponsor. I ask that you invite another person of good character and commitment to Rotary's motto of service above self to join our club within the next 6 months. By sponsoring a new member, you will share the honor of becoming a Rotarian. Do you accept this challenge? I do. He's still saying yes. That is good. Muskegon Rotarians and guests, please rise. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I formally admit Parker Arts to membership and welcome him to our club. Fellow Rotarians, please recognize and congratulate the newest Rotarian in the world, Parker Arts. Congratulations and welcome, Parker. You can bask in the glow of your fellow Rotarians. Very happy to have you join us. And we also have a Paul Harris Fellow Award. Meredith is ready to go. Let me get this out of your way.
Thanks, Ginny. In 1957, Rotary International established the Paul Harris Fellow Award to honor Paul Harris, one of our 3 founders of Rotary. Rotary created this eponymous award to express appreciation for the financial support and the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation. This award is one of Rotary's most prestigious honors. Paul Harris once said, "Dreaming is not so bad if one dreams good dreams and makes them come true." Rotarians make dreams a reality through the Rotary Foundation programs that provide educational opportunities, food, potable water, sanitation, healthcare, immunizations, and shelter for millions of persons around the world. Today, we honor a deserving individual who also dreams good dreams and makes them come true. To help us with this presentation, I would like to invite Roger Morgenstern and Christine Robert to come forward and tell us about our honoree, who today will join the worldwide ranks of Paul Harris Fellows.
Thank you, Meredith. Christine and I are here today to honor a Rotarian who lives the four-way test in all that he does in his job and his community. This individual's foray into into local government began many years ago when he was appointed the Dalton Township Supervisor. That kind of narrows the field. While his elected career was short-lived, his commitment to public and community service is long. I first got to know this guy when he worked for Muskegon Area First, and I was the Lakeshore Community Affairs Manager at Consumers Energy, which, by the way, is building a solar farm out in Moreland Township. Go Consumers. The position had previously been held by 3 other Rotarians, Bill Johansson, myself, and Lori Larson. So it only made sense that he would get the job and join Muskegon Rotary. By now, you know I'm talking about Rich Houdeman. Rich has done an amazing job in his role. Speaking from personal experience, it isn't always easy being the face of your friendly power company when the news to deliver isn't always easy and popular. Rich is a great ambassador for consumers and the community, serving as past chair of the White Lake Chamber of Commerce Board, on the boards of the Greater Muskegon Economic Development, GMED, and the Grand Valley State University Alumni Association, and as co-host of the Muskegon Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce Business for Breakfast. Rich is a proud native of Lakewood Club. If you ask him, that's where he's from. He and his wife Gina live in Whitehall and have 2 adult children, Rachel, who just graduated this spring from Grand Valley State University, and Jack, who attends Hope College. Today, we'd like to focus on his work for United Way of the Lakeshore. Christine?
Roger's a bit taller than me, so let me bring back my notes. Rich's role, he's served United Way for the last 8 years on our board, but he's been involved with United Way forever. Always seeing him in so many ways, helping in the community. His time with United Way, though, he's always been in a progressively challenging leadership role, from serving on the campaign cabinet to leading a division of campaign to being the communications chair, then the community engagement chair, and I think he really loved the Day of Caring projects and really found some heart in that. And one of the great pieces of that for us is he would bring each year up to 30 people to the Day of Caring projects, and my favorite one was the one at the LST. We had taken on veterans as our primary service project to help veterans in their homes. And that year, we specifically chose the LST to remind us of that history of our community in supporting veterans. And we had, the flags were all around the LST, and we had hundreds of volunteers up on that deck. And the corporate leadership came to kick off the campaign. Rich had arranged that. And Patty came. Patty does their safety, or does our safety exercise with the team. So we have everybody stretch ahead of going out on the Day of Caring project. And now I think just about every year since, Patty comes back for Day of Caring that first Friday in September to kick off our Day of Caring for our Mission United work. And I mean, this past year, Rich was chair of the United Way board, and so we went and visited every project, and being able to go, and he didn't want to, I had to pick him up at the Consumers Project, and he didn't want to leave, and I finally had to jar him away so we could go visit the other projects. He just loves the work of service, and certainly the service above self that Rotary is a model of. He meets that in spades all the time. So I just want to share with you that he is an important, not only an important person in our community that gives back in so many ways, but he also just always is that person that gives above himself, and for that incredible service, we want to make sure you receive the Paul Harris Award this year.
Christine, I'm going to give these to you and Roger to present. Okay. Rich, your wife is also here. Gina was able to sneak in with a little help from Roger and Christine. So it's not just your work family, but your wife as well. Today, my fellow Rotarians, as we move closer to a more peaceful world as Rich Houdeman becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. Rich, you are being recognized today as a Paul Harris Fellow in special appreciation for how your life exemplifies the humanitarian and educational objectives of the Rotary Foundation. You were designated to receive this recognition by your Muskegon Rotary Club. On behalf of the Rotary Foundation Board of Trustees, you receive 3 emblems of a Paul Harris Fellow, a lapel pin, a medallion, and a certificate that states you have been named a Paul Harris Fellow in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations between peoples of the world. We encourage you to wear your pin to demonstrate your support of the Rotary Foundation programs that save and invigorate people's lives worldwide. Rotary, Rich, please accept our congratulations and sincere appreciation for commitment to our shared world understanding and peace goals. Rotarians and friends, now you may stand and recognize the newest Paul Harris Fellow in the world, Rich Houdeman.
Congratulations, Rich. Well deserved. I want you all to go home and take out your member directories. You may be seated. And take a look at that center front photo. It's Rich rocking it out at the United Way Day of Caring. It is an awesome shot. Well, congratulations again. We are ready for announcements. I have a couple people that want to make an announcement, so if you could please come up here and be ready to go, we will appreciate it. Rewind does, oh, you want your, there you go. No worries. Rewind does not meet this evening. This week's Muskegon Rising podcast is episode number 21, Lively Up Kombucha. Not sure if I said that right. The podcast is on buzzsprout.com or check out the link in the rim. Thank you so much to all of you who have volunteered to help us at our Party in the Park tomorrow, Friday, May 31st. Be sure to check your email from Andrew to verify the time for your shift. We want you to be there ready to go. Thank you, too, to everyone who completed their TIPS training, which allows us to comply with the terms of our special liquor license. I think I took a record amount of time to do it. I was doing it with grandchildren asking questions. Thank you to our flag volunteers who placed U.S. flags along our stretch of Seaway Drive on Memorial Day. We are grateful to Sue and John Noling, Dominique and Ben Bunker, Muskegon Interact student KK and her mother Elizabeth for their patriotic service. If you're interested in helping with the flags, just set them up in the morning, take them down in the evening. Please see John Noling, who needs help on the following federal holidays that are coming up: June 14th, which is Flag Day, and July 4th. I know you know what that is. Our new members and our early rising seasoned members. Please mark your calendars for the new member coffee connect on Wednesday, June 12th from 8 to 9 a.m. at the Muskegon Museum of History and Science, 430 West Clay Avenue. They would love to see you there and enjoy some coffee and fellowship. If you could show the slide, please, Michael. I don't think you need to turn off those fans. That's just, this is your reminder to sign up for our Clippers game. It'll be Sunday, June 9th. Gates open at 3, first pitch at 4:05 p.m. $15 per carload or $5 for a single admission. Tim Lipan wanted you to let your children and grandchildren know that they should come and bring along the adults that help get them there. So we would appreciate that. And I am ready now for, you, Tim, you're going to go first?
Thank you, Jenny. My announcement has to do with the results of the Pours for Polio community, excuse me. I got accustomed to using polio in there. We had a very successful Pours 2024. This was our third year. You may be aware this is our third year for doing the Pours. And our objective is to build a brand for Muskegon Rotary Foundation as a spring fundraiser. Our desire over time is to build a threshold of about $10,000 of net income. This year we were able to achieve $8,000 in net income, which is a significant improvement over what we did last year. So we're real pleased about that. Our brand that we're trying to establish, and I think we're getting there, is to have a spring mixer just after the spring break and just before everybody gets busy in May. And we want to capture those who want to get out and get a break from winter, and those that are coming back are snowbirds as they're coming back. So that's a great way to raise funds for us. Our success has really been a result of an outstanding committee comprised of creative, resilient, entrepreneurial members who come up with new ideas every year, a growing list of sponsors, an increasing number of attendees, and a win-win arrangement with our establishments. It gives them an opportunity to showcase their businesses to well-connected members of the community. Also, the first year of the establishment's experience, we are able to tell them that 70% of the people that we bring probably have never been to their establishments, and they have reaffirmed that to me on a number of occasions. It also serves as a nice social mixer to fit in with the social committee's calendar, and an opportunity for Rotarians to bring friends and prospective members to a Rotary experience. As I mentioned, we had revenues that exceeded expenses by $8,000, which is an increase from about $5,700 last year. And in closing, I want to, and I know our committee wants to, thank the sponsors who helped us increase our gross revenues, the members' financial support that was given to us, the members and guests who attended, and for also all the many positive comments and compliments on the PORS events. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Tim. You're a visual aid.
Yes, my visual aid. Hello, everyone. Arn Bozart. Just a real quick announcement. I am still trying to reunite a very nice pair of ladies' gloves that were left behind at the March 27 food truck. I'm going to put these gloves at the back table. We'll leave them there. We'll have them there for a couple of weeks. If they're not claimed at that point, I will make sure that they are contributed to the Mission for Area People Clothes Closet. But if they're yours, please claim them.
Thank you. And Susan?
Susan Crane, yes, a snowbird. It's good to see you all. And for some of you, past president of this club. I'm representing DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. June 14th, we are looking for volunteers for the Rotary-sponsored event formerly known as our Community Mixer, and now rebranded Muskegon Rotary Family Fun Night. This remarkable event is held starting at 5 o'clock on Friday, June 14th at the Mona Lake Park, and is one of the club's longest-standing acts of community outreach and engagement to Muskegon Heights. It includes free food, live music, games, children booths, displays from a plethora of organizations. We want to thank our donors who made this possible. This year it is sponsored by the Community Foundation for Muskegon County and 19 individual members from this club. Our goal for volunteers is to have, by the way, there's a board going around someplace. I hope it's still moving around. We want many volunteers. This is an outreach event, and we want our club to be well represented. Wear your swag. And if you don't know or have swag, I understand you can go to the trophy house and get your own. So please sign up, join us for a couple of hours on this beautiful Friday night at the shores of Mona Lake. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, you can do individual ordering at Trophy House, as she mentioned, but it does, take a while. You pick out your shirt and they'll put the logo on. So, thank you to everyone who made an announcement, and we appreciate everything that everybody's doing. Mary Beth, we are ready and waiting for the raffle. What are you doing first? I am going to do the 10 first. Oh, 10. Oh, mixing it up there.
All right, so the last four are 504.
504. Oh, Mary Ann, way to go. Congratulations. Okay, Mary Beth, what's next?
I'm going to do the five.
$5. $5.99. Oh, way to go, Judy. You got your investment back with a little bonus. And for $20, $440. Okay, yeah, there's another one. Who won the 20? Oh, Tom, congratulations.
These are for 2 tickets to the Muskegon Museum of Art. They're passes. 456.
4, 5, 6. Get a little art in your life. Oh, is that Dr. Demersion or you, Bill? Well, thank you, and thanks for the donation of the passes, Rich. We appreciated that. Next week's program will be on the Muskegon County Senior Millage. It'll be an update, and if everyone will please rise, we'll recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great week. Create some hope in the world. We are adjourned.